All right. So my plan today was to go live on Facebook, and apparently I am not supposed to be doing that because I've tried now twice and I keep having technical issues. And so I'm just going to do a recording here on Google Meet that I'll post. My whole purpose for going live was to do a preview of my Four Thoughts Marriage Masterclass that's going to be held on September 23rd. And I thought for those of you who might be new to my world, my connections on Facebook, I would do a brief little intro. So I'm Melissa, and I'm the communication doc. That's the name of my business that I formed. I am married. We've been married for 18 years. I have 6 kids, 5 grandkids. We have a grand cat named Loki, who will probably interrupt the video. And we have a turtle named Bob, who I can guarantee will not interrupt the video. So we'll make adjustments to Loki as needed. And I have taught communication courses for 30 years, pretty much my entire professional career. And after teaching for that long, I decided that I wanted to start my own business. And my degrees, I have a master's and a PhD that are both focusing on interpersonal communication or communicating in relationships. And so I really have a passion to help committed married couples be able to better communicate in their marriages so that they can handle conflict and have more satisfying marriages. And so that's the purpose for the event I'm having, to introduce people to my business, the Communication Doc LLC, and my marriage group coaching program. And the event, I'm going to explain a little about how it came about. So I had this idea of doing a event on tips for marriage, and I came up with 11 tips. Well, as typical with tips, they sound really easy, but when you try to actually put them into play in your marriage, they become really hard. And so I decided to do a Facebook post asking people, well, what tips have you heard for marriage, especially ones that are easier said than done? And I had a lot of feedback, which I really appreciate, of people giving me tips that they'd heard, things that they've heard that are important, and then how those are challenging to apply. I ended up with about 18 tips. And so, of course, I'm not going to be able to do something that covers all 18 tips. So I started dividing them into categories. And interestingly enough, I was able to divide them into 4 categories, which are the same 4 categories that my group coaching program covers. It's your thinking in your marriage, how you actually communicate, how you manage conflict, and then the importance of placing a priority on your marriage and how you do that. And so I decided to start with this 4 thoughts that will destroy your marriage, because obviously how we think is going to impact how we communicate. So I can take all the time in the world to teach you how to communicate better in your marriage. But if your thinking is all screwed up, you're not going to be successful. So we've got to get your thinking straightened first before I can help you then learn how to communicate more effectively. And when you think correctly and you communicate better and you listen better, you're going to have less conflict. Now, the conflict that you do have, I can help you manage more effectively. And then, of course, just prioritizing the maintenance of our marriage, because so many things get in the way as far as our busy, stressful lives that we often put our marriage and trying to keep our marriage healthy on the back burner. So that's the background behind the event that's happening on the 23rd of September. In order to participate in the masterclass, you need to join my Facebook group. And I have multiple links that I've posted, as well as in the event itself. Many of you have indicated that you're interested or that you're planning on going. But in order to do that, you need to hit that little blue button that says go to link. That will take you to my Facebook group, where it will ask you your name, your email address, and how many years you've been married. Also, if you are engaged, this would be a perfect opportunity for you to get a head start before you get married. So don't be afraid, if you're engaged and not married yet, to join. The information that I'm collecting will not be shared with anyone else. It's for me to be able to contact you by email in case there's an issue with Facebook and it shuts down, then I always have access to email. So join my Facebook group for that. That's where I'm going to post the link for you to be able to join the masterclass, as well as the recording. And what will happen after the recording, which is again Monday, the 23rd at 7:30, I will post the recording in the group if you're not able to make it live. Now, if you are able to make it live, or maybe you're debating, I'm going to give you a bonus if you make it live. So I'm not going to tell you what that is. So you'll have to come and see. But if you can join live, that would be great. We're actually going to have conversation and discussion. It won't be me talking the entire time. And then I'll post the recording, and then the 4 subsequent days, we're going to focus one day each on each of the 4 thoughts and the strategies and skills that I've given you in the master class to overcome those. I'm going to coach you through applying those in the subsequent days. So it should be something that's very practical, that I'm not just throwing information at you, but you're able to actually take that information and apply it successfully to your marriage. I also wanted to give you a couple tips that have been really helpful for me in my marriage. I post videos on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Everything's at The Communication Doc, so you can check them out. I have a whole series of marriage story videos that I've posted. So if you'd like to get more detail on anything I'm about to say, you can go check out those videos. But brief story, I was single until I was 34. I married a man who had been divorced twice before. We had 5 kids automatically, or he had 5 kids, so I inherited the 5 kids. Then we had 1 additional. We've had a number of unique things that have happened in our marriage. And so the 2 tips, these are not the only 2 or necessarily even the top 2, but just 2 tips that have been really helpful to me in our marriage and helping us be married for 18 years, as well as continuing strong. We have a healthy marriage. Are, first of all, that you can't change your partner. You can't try to change your spouse in your marriage. Now, I've posted several videos about this, so I'm not going to go into detail. One of the videos even talks about why you shouldn't try to change your partner. But that whole idea of trying to change your spouse creates a lot of problems in marriage. And that's not to say that I've never tried to do it. I have on many occasions, and I have to keep coming back to the idea that I can't change my spouse. I can only change me. And then the second one is that marriage is supposed to be 100%, 100%, not a 50-50 kind of situation. Now, obviously, I cannot give 100% all the time. That's not feasible. So this is a mindset thing. I focus on giving my best all the time towards our marriage, as opposed to my focusing on, okay, I did my part, but my husband is or is not doing his part, and then that becoming an issue. If both of us are focusing on giving our 100% all the time, then even if neither of us makes 100%, we always have 100% total in our marriage, and our marriage stays healthy. And there are going to be times where, for whatever reason, I can't give my full best towards the marriage, or my husband can't give his full best towards the marriage. And so it's that mindset of not comparing who's giving what, but just focusing on giving your best. And that's been really helpful to me in maintain our marriage, especially through different struggles that we've had. So hopefully that gives you a little insight into me, into the event. And I do hope you join. I have a passion for helping married couples be able to keep their marriages strong. And even if you feel like your marriage is in a good place, I can guarantee you know others who could use your help, use the help, because marriage is 50% of them end in divorce. Hold on a second, I'm getting an announcement here, so I got to make sure it doesn't close on me. I should have mentioned that I'm also visually impaired, so anytime I'm on any kind of a call, if something weird shows up and I have to go close to the screen, that's why. But I'd love to have you join my event or refer people who you think will benefit from it.
I'm recording.
Mm.